today we're going to be tackling one of the major cosmetic and armor upgrades that the Rubicon 392 definitely needs. Now looking at the exterior here, you guys can tell we've already done quite a few different things. But today we're going to be installing a rear bumper from Hook Road. This just showed up today, as you can see right here, and I'm really excited to show you guys exactly what we got. Now, to be fully transparent, Hook Road actually reached out to me and offered to send out a couple products to test out, and this is the first thing we're going to be testing and actually installing. And I wanted to let you guys know that just since they sent these out for free, that's not going to impact my opinion on this or my actual review. If it's good, I'll tell you it's good, and if it's trash, I will be sure to tell you that it's trash. But their motto is make a difference, and I'm sure that the bumper I picked out is definitely going to make a difference on our Rubicon 392. So I assume we've got some hardware in this box. This bumper actually comes with a trailer hitch, so you're able to install a hitch if you don't already have one from the factory. And this looks like the license plate bracket. And then we finally got the actual bumper, and it looks like we've got some instructions right here too. So just for an initial impression, this bumper looks really good. The powder coating looks very, very good. I'm actually pretty surprised. It's not the thickest powder coating in the world, but it definitely looks like it's going to stand up to the test. Aside from that, we have the pod lights already installed, which is pretty cool, and there is no damage from the actual shipping or anything like that, not even as much as a scuff, at least not that I can see yet. So I'm definitely impressed by that. Now, it looks like the install process is going to be pretty straightforward, but the first thing we need to do is rip off that stock rear bumper. Now, to be fair, I haven't taken a rear JL bumper off in a little while, but I remember it being pretty straightforward. Now, this one does have the park sensors, and the rear bumper from Hook Road also accepts those park sensors. So we will have to be, not necessarily delicate, but at least mindful of those sensors whenever we're taking all this off. To start off, I believe we've got 3 bolts on each side that we can access with an impact. And then on the sides here, it's in a tough spot for 2 bolts on each side, and we'll probably have to use an actual wrench for that. And while I'm over here, I'm also going to disconnect the park sensors for the rear. I thought for sure I could leave this bracket mounted to the bumper and just disconnect it from the rear section of the frame, but I am going to have to disconnect it from at least one side of the rear bumper because those tabs, you can't really move them. And you don't have to use a ratcheting wrench for this, but if you've got one, it'll definitely help on that top bolt for the bracket right here. Now that I've got this bracket off, you can see this is the piece that was going into the frame right there. Extremely annoying, but obviously we got it off, and now we should be able to slide the bumper that way and take it straight off. And just like that, we've got it off. And now before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and take out those park sensors. And for these, right around the edges, right there, they've got a little piece, and they plug into that shroud that's got 2 pieces. So you just stick in a screwdriver and pop them right there. Creates just enough separation, that way you can pull it out. So now that we've got all those sensors pulled out, I guess I'm going to go ahead and plug it into this bumper while we've got it down. And just so you guys can see, this is what the sensor holes look like from the back side. It's just a brace, and then you've got 2 little nuts, and it holds it right there, and they fit really well. Now what I'm going to do is zip tie all this extra slack up real quick, and then I'm going to go ahead and strip these wires a little bit so it'll be easier to mount, and tighten these down as well. That way everything is ready to go and put on that rear bumper. Now while I was tightening everything up, I did find this marker right here, if it'll focus, where the paint is scratched off. I'm pretty sure it was like that. I don't think I've done anything to actually do it. It gives us a good look at how thick that powder coat actually is, but not a big deal. What I'm going to do is use a touch-up pin on it right now before we get it mounted up. That way we make sure it doesn't rust. So now I've got all that tightened up. We got the touch-up done right there on that one piece. I've got the lights tightened up as well, so that's good to go. We'll still have to wire the lights once we get in there, but what we need to do right now is we need to place this bracket on the passenger side frame rail right here, because as you can tell, it doesn't have any nuts right there built into the frame like the driver's side does right here. So we'll place this bracket in there, then we'll be able to place the bumper on and start tightening it down. So here are both of the hitches side by side, and as you can tell, the aftermarket hitch is actually sitting quite a bit lower than the factory hitch. So with that, that's definitely going to give us the clearance that we need. I guess it's not a big deal that we have to take off the factory hitch since it comes with one for that awesome price, but that's just something you guys definitely need to keep in mind. All right, it's definitely clearing a lot better so far. Let's see if we can line these holes up. Now after I've got all the bolts in, I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up on the bottom right here. And now I've got it all bolted up, and it actually looks really good. I'm super impressed with the actual styling and the way that it actually covers. I really think that that tube style rear bumper really complements the tube style fenders we have on there as well. Now something you guys do need to note is whenever I was actually torquing these down, the powder coat did flake right there, and that was just whenever I was using a hand wrench. And the same thing for down here whenever I was using the impact. So we're definitely going to have to touch all that up. It's honestly just a pretty thin powder coat, so that's the main reason it's going to happen. Right here where I was hitting it with the hammer to basically line it up, I was able to flake a piece off right there, so I'll have to touch that up as well, but nothing on the bottom from where I was hitting it. And this gives you a good chance to see that clearance right there. The factory hitch was just too high, so that's the main reason we have to go ahead and install this. So this is almost the final look. I just installed the D-rings on there as well. I think they look really good, but I am going to replace those for some black D-rings. The LED pods that came pre-installed did not come with a wiring kit, and I did not install the license plate holder because obviously I don't use that place for a license plate holder. I have the spare tire delete. Now if you are going to run a spare, I believe this accommodates up to a 37-inch tall tire, so you do have options for that. But for now I'm going to go ahead and start wiring these LED pods, and then we'll make sure that all the wires behind the bumper look good and they're in the right place. After a little rigging up, we've got these lights wired. I didn't have a kit that was long enough to come all the way to the back, so I had to make some splices and put in some different wires, but definitely got it to work. I really like the way that this bumper comes right here around the corner, and it almost lines up perfect with this rear fender. It looks really good from this side profile here, and that departure angle is going to be awesome. Definitely going to help out on the trails. Aside from that, these lights are super bright, so to have came with these for basically free, to come included anyway, is really, really cool. Now I've showed you just about everything on this bumper and how to install it, but just the finished look is absolutely awesome. You guys will have to drop it down in the comments below what you think about this budget-friendly bumper. Well, I've got to give a huge shout out to Hook Road for sending out this awesome bumper. Now, to be honest, this isn't the absolute best bumper on the market. There probably are bumpers out there that are a bit more robust and may even last longer. But for the price point of under $300, I don't think there's a single bumper that offers the same looks and capabilities as this bumper from Hook Road. If you guys are interested in getting this or something else from them, check down in my description below. You'll also find a discount code there to get you guys the absolute best price. But if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see next. But until then, Godspeed.